So today, I am here to talk about Daredevil, and a fun fact, if you didn't know, he's actually my favorite superhero of all time. Something about a man battling for his life in the streets of New York while also dealing with his religion and beliefs is just fascinating to me. As someone who was raised Catholic, I can see a lot of the struggles he goes through, and as someone who has pretty much separated himself from religion, it's amazing to see Matt never fully give up on it. See, the thing I love most about Matt is that he fails a lot. I mean, he lost his father young, he gets beaten down by a ton of his villains, he loses people very close to him, but he always gets back up. It's almost insane how much Matt does lose in life, yet he never really stops. He sometimes takes a breather, but he just keeps on trucking along till he breaks through the other side. So today, I really wanted to focus on, in my opinion, the biggest failure that Matt has ever had. I mean this in a respectful way. As someone who loves the character, he still fucks up a few times. That's who he is. But maybe his biggest screw up ever was meeting his wife, Milla. And to give a little backstory, Matt had recently, before all this, lost Karen. And that was the love of his life, who was viciously killed by Bullseye by having Daredevil's own stick thrown into her chest. It's a nasty kill, and pretty much Matt never really truly recovers from it because he goes right back into fighting, basically. And prior to that, despite the rocky moments with good old Elektra and her crazy ass at times, Matt also lost a piece of himself when she died because Bullseye killed her too. So Matt's been pretty screwed up in the head, but again, always manages to bounce back. But today I want to talk about Milla, and you're wondering, who is Milla and what happened? That's the big questions. Introduced during Bendis' amazing run on Daredevil, by the way, Milla was a blind woman who was saved by Matt, who was almost ran over. In this moment, she knew right away who Matt was just by touching his face. Similar to how Matt has his own quirks and ways of finding out who everyone is, so does Milla. So soon, Milla gets involved more and more into Matt's life, and you know what they say, folks, you can't help who you fall in love with. And I have to say, I think their relationship is really cute, and it's very loving, though it is very messy. See, she met Matt knowing that he was Daredevil, which makes it easier for him to be kind of truthful near her, but at the same time, she worries for him like anyone else would, with him, nearly dying multiple times, especially going out and crime fighting. But at the same time, Matt doesn't even know if he's fully over Karen. And when they marry, it soon becomes a question. Is he marrying her just to hide his pain, or does he really love her? Up and down they go, but Milla sticks with Matt through and through, no matter what's happening, never giving up on it, and telling him that she loves him. And Matt loves her. That's the connection that they have. But like all good things, there's a lot of people who hate Matt. After his identity gets out everywhere, people are gunning for Matt left and right. But one villain, Mr. Fear, decides to play the long game, building up a war in Hell's Kitchen while also slowly finding a way to ruin Matt's life. See, a lot of villains go after Daredevil himself, but Mr. Fear takes a new approach, going after a friend. It's the key he really needs to hurt Matt. And Mr. Fear is actually almost successful in delivering the killing blow to the poor lawyer. Daredevil gets cornered one day by Mr. Fear and his goons, and in a fight, Mr. Fear warns Matt about Milla. Matt is then infected with the fear gas as well, and then thrown through the window. And you see, the thing with Milla is that she has already met Mr. Fear in therapy sessions, and he has been giving her the gas that he just gave Matt, but a lot worse. And basically think of it as like Joker's insane gas. You just begin to go a little crazy. Very violent outbursts that she can only contain normalcy maybe for a few hours before hitting, stabbing, or becoming crazy. So Daredevil now is at a loss at what he should do. He tries to help her the best she could, and at first it's not too bad, but the longer that she's infected, the worse it becomes. And thanks to Mr. Fear using another old adversary to set Milla off by triggering her violent tendencies, she beats a nurse nearly half to death, leaving Matt to go postal and start beating the shit out of pretty much every villain that he could find. Eventually, after knocking out some people, Mr. Fear shows himself, and as you suspect, Matt goes after him. And at first, it seems like a balanced fight, but Matt's angry bursts through, and he just lays the fucking smackdown on Mr. Fear. It's a great moment, by the way, I gotta say. And upon beating him, he asks him again and again, where is the antidote? And Mr. Fear simply responds with, there is none. And I killed the doctor who made the fear gas. Now this realization obviously comes to Matt quickly and is a crushing blow in this fight. And on top of that, Mr. Fear just lets himself be taken into custody because Matt doesn't kill. He just does. He has that Batman kind of rule. And the goal was never to get away with what he did. See, Mr. Fear just wanted to see Matt suffer a terrible fate. A fate worse than you can imagine. Basically, he knows he failed his wife, and there is nothing that he can do about it. And soon after, Matt has to admit Milla to a mental hospital and watch as she's heavily sedated and having to live the rest of her life there. And as Matt and Foggy leave the hospital and they're just standing outside, Foggy is trying to console his friend and tell him it's going to be okay and it's not his fault. But Matt doesn't agree. And these words, or this line from Matt, really affected me when he says that he ruined her life. See, Matt can be a bit whiny at times, and he always blames himself for everything, but he's kind of right here. The only reason that Mr. Fear went after Milla is because she loved Matt. Now, he is a supervillain, and that's what pieces of shit do, but it's the fact that Matt could have walked away from this marriage many times before, especially still dealing with the loss of Karen, but instead stuck with her and kind of is a big part of the blame for what happened. Now, Milla, too, is, of course, to blame because she stayed with him, and of course Mr. Fear is the biggest part of the reason why this all happened, so fuck him, but Matt plays a huge role, especially since he is the hero of this story. He is the husband, and not only did he fail as a hero, but he failed as a partner, and that is a crushing blow. Now, this isn't everyone's favorite story. Brubaker is held up as one of the best in the business, but a lot of people online, you'll probably notice, didn't like this storyline. A lot of the criticism is too dark, it's not fair what happened to Milla. I understand that, so that's why they don't like it. Me, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot, actually, mostly because I think Mr. Fear gets a decent amount of time to be a good villain, and Milla isn't just fridged, she's a real character who unfortunately suffers a terrible fate, and Matt is to blame for some of that, so it really hits home. This feels earned and justified, and although it feels a bit like, well, what happens then? Oh, well, nothing, because her parents take care of her after this and take custody of her because Matt just keeps failing in ways after doing other stuff I'm not going to bring up, but basically sleeping with one of his co-workers, and they get it on camera, so obviously he can't even keep it in his fucking pants, Matt, while his wife is insane. But anyway, it's just overall pretty fucked up. Well, this isn't for everyone, and this is a dark storyline. It is honestly, in my opinion, reading over 400 issues of Daredevil now, probably 500 actually, it is one of the darkest, if not the darkest moment in Matt's life, simply because he completely failed in multiple ways, and it was pretty much partly his fault. But what do you guys think? Do you like this storyline? Do you hate this storyline? Do you think this is the darkest moment for Matt, or does he have other moments that you would put above this? List that below. I would love to read it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do as you always do and hit that like button. That means a lot to me. If you love this video, hit that subscribe button. That means that you want to see more, and I got more content coming out. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.